thank you to our sponsor, Bosque Trails Hospice, for hosting us here today. I also want to thank our other sponsors who helped make this festival possible. A good goodbye, that's me. Bernalillo County, their indigent program, Better Place Forests, Conscious Crossroads End of Life Services, Deaf Doula Danielle, and Deaf Doula Professionals, Brooke Nutting. End of Life Options New Mexico, thank you for the bagels and the coffee. French Funerals and Cremations. Keeper Memorials for the online access on Zoom. And Passages International, also longtime supporter of my work. I am so excited to introduce to you Tammy Holmes. She is a noted psychic. She lives in the Phoenix area. I first met her with a One Day Before I Die festival event in Bakersfield, California. So everybody out there in Zoom land, you could have a one-day festival and let's talk. Tammy is just remarkable in terms of how she works with people and connects with the world beyond this physical plane of existence. And she was, so I met her in Bakersfield. She was on our online only festival during the pandemic, and she was with us last year, and so glad to have you here this year. Please give a big round of applause to Tammy Holmes.
Thank you for having me down. I love Gail. We become friends, like we can't get rid of each other. But thank you for having me here, and I know how much work goes into producing events, so give it up for Gail. I sat with the topic for today because usually I just channel, which I'll probably do too today. But what I did is I ended up asking my spirit guides and the loved ones on the other side, because I've been doing readings for people for 30 years. So I've read over 70, 80,000 people. I've coached. I've worked with all kinds of people. I've heard everything. It's been an interesting life. But I love what I do, and it's very natural to me. So I live in two worlds. So I asked Spirit, I go, what would this group want to hear today? And this has never been a topic I've talked about. So this is a new one for me. I've done a lot of talks, but this one is what your loved ones want you to know how to deal with the grieving process when they die. Because what happens, and I just had a reading a few days ago with somebody, and when I read energy with somebody passing, I can tell where they're in the stage of their grief. And sometimes what happens is, a lot of times, is people get stuck in the grief process and it becomes their identity. And that's not healthy either. So I don't want to go into the process of grieving. There's 6 stages of grief. You can look that up. But what you don't want to do is get stuck in it. And it becomes part of your identity. I had a woman years ago who refused to get a reading. Her son was killed drastically by a train. And her and her son decided that they were going to honor the grief. So they never celebrated Christmas again or did any holidays. They just got stuck. And that's one thing the loved ones on the other side, they don't want you to do that. Because you came in here with a contract. We all have contracts we pick up on the other side before we incarnate of things that we're going to evolve with. Because Earth is like a school. Okay, you're here to learn. Your soul is going to evolve through joy or pain. It doesn't matter how you learn it, the soul's going to get it. But what I think we tend to do is, on the other side, we go through, I think I could do that. I could do that. Yeah, I could do that too. So we add on all these things that we think we can handle when we're not incarnated, right? So we come here and we have these obligations and contracts that we're supposed to do. And it's not just what we do, it's also the people we're going to meet. So if you think all the people that you meet are an accident or not an accident, trust me, everybody that you meet is not an accident. Of all the billions of people on the planet, you meet who you meet. Whatever the relationship that forms is irrelevant, right? So what they say on the other side is, don't get stuck in the pain, because you still have to fulfill your contract. And they don't want, they watch everything here. It's like a movie. They can watch everything. They see everything. They know what you're doing. I think they give us some privacy too. Okay? You know that, right? But the thing is, they don't want you to avoid your contract and what you agree to do because it takes away with them, like, you know, with my grief, the grief that you have with missing them, they know they're going to see you, but they want you to continue. And this is what I've noticed because I've been doing this for so long. The first 7, 8 months of passing is probably the hardest for most people. Okay, 7, 8 months. So what happens when you die is they don't leave you. They're in your home, they're in your space, they're part of you. It's like a weaning process. They stay with you while you get through that process of letting go. Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
Okay, so they show you signs are with you, whatever you can handle. Some people are too frightened by it, but they turn electronics on, they bring animals in, they, you can hear music, things that remind you of them. They'll keep reminding you that they're with you. And they'll do it in a way that you can handle. Like my mom passed, and my mom was extremely difficult. She was not an easy person. She was bipolar Italian. Okay, so that tells you anything. But like I have, it was not easy. But when she died, my sister didn't want her ashes at her house. She gave it to me because my mom was messing with her in her house, and my sister was terrified. She doesn't even want to know the work I do. It freaks her out. So I decided to take my mom's ashes home. And I had to talk to my mother, okay? Because I would be downstairs at the house I was in at the time, and my TV would start turning on. And my mom had a fixation with TV. She had dementia, and she had this huge box TV, and she thought everybody wanted to steal it, okay? Which was crazy, but it was part of her exit. So every time I'd go downstairs, she'd turn my bedroom TV on. And I finally said, Mom, I don't mind you being here, but stop turning me on. But they will do that. And that's part of the first year. Okay. So know that this is very common the first year when they go. They want you to know they're with you because they're not separate. Love is never separate. And the way to connect with people who pass on is through the heart chakra. The heart is where you connect. Love is everything. And we're connected and not just with people that die, but we're connected to each other on earth. It's beautiful. You know, you think you're separate, like you're there and I'm here, but we're not. That's why I can read because it's all connected. It's all energy. So they want you to know the first thing, do not get stuck in your grief. Allow it. Okay. It's very personal. So what one person may do, another won't do. And I always advise my clients, don't let people tell you how to grieve. Okay. So many people want to give you advice. And one of my teachers, who I had Marianne Williamson for 12 years as a teacher, okay, said, don't give advice unless they ask you for it, because they don't want it, right? So if somebody tells you how to grieve, they're in their fear of trying to alleviate the pain you're going through. But you should say, I appreciate your advice, but I need to process my own grief. Some people even wear people's clothes, their clothes, or sleep with it. Or some people get rid of everything the next week and it's all gone. And some people hang on to it for months at a time. I always say to people, they ask me, I said, I would not make any major decisions for a year. Go through your process of your grief, get through that, correct? So one of the things they want you to know, they're with you, they're watching everything. And they already know you're coming to join them. They can't wait to celebrate with you because they understand that this is an art school. This is part of what you're learning. Your soul is evolving. You're coming here to evolve, and you agreed to be here. You guys get that?
Yes.
We all like, I didn't agree to be here. Or I don't want to be here. Or they'll say, or their mother or father, did I pick you? You pick your mother and father too. You pick everybody that you meet because we're here to evolve. It's about learning through, and this is the thing, you only have, I'm a Course in Miracles teacher and student. So the Course says you only have one choice in this lifetime. You're going to learn through joy or pain. You're going to learn, but do you want to learn through joy or do you want to learn through pain? But most of us learn through pain. And it evolves us. And the soul doesn't care how you're going to get it, just wants to get it. Okay? So when you're going through pain of a grief of a loved one, the other thing I'm getting this is you think when you go through grief, you have to honor that, right? But one of the things that, of course, I love, it says, you think you have many problems, but you only have one. You separated from source. whatever you call that, higher self, God, you know, your loved ones, you disconnected. If you start spinning out with the coulda, shouldas, because I hear that a lot from my clients, I should have done this. Maybe if we'd have done that, maybe if we tried this, or we went to a different doctor, or whatever. There's no coulda, shouldas. And I will say this, when people pass, it's their time. Because you know people have near-death experiences too, right? Okay, if it wasn't their time, they would have came back. Because some people, my sister has 9 lives. She comes back from everything. I look at her and wow, and she has great denial too. So that helps her. But the thing is, when they go, it's their time, and it's not fair. You know, some people die young, some people die old. And the other thing they want you to know, how they exit was exactly how they were supposed to go. So if they die in a fire, they die from COVID. I said last year, fentanyl is really big right now. I have so many reasons with fentanyl. Or they die a slow death. And do you know what the slow death is? Karma. So they're burning off karma. They're burning off karma of what they need to clear up so that they can send, because everything's energy. So when you put karma off, it ascends the energy of your physical and etheric body. You guys get that? So a lot of times when people take a long time to die, it's because they're ascending. And they're burning karma so that they can match the frequency of going to the other realm. You guys get that? It's powerful, right? So, because remember, everything is energy. We're not bodies. We're light. We're spirit. And it's hard because when they die, you don't see them anymore, right? So one thing I want to tell you, they want you to let go of the coulda, shouldas. I could have done this. And the other thing I hear, I left the room. I shouldn't have left the room. They died when I left the room because they couldn't leave with you there. It's too painful. And most people that are involved when they die, they're more concerned about you than themselves. It's a beautiful experience, and death is a personal experience for them. All right, so and I love all the modalities and all the things that are there for people in the learning about the process of passing. I think it's a very spiritual experience, and I hope I can be that spiritual when I pass. I don't know how I'm going to be, but I hope I can be that, because that's what it's about. And it's called graduation. You're graduating from Earth school. All right. And when you go, they see everything. So they already know you're coming, and there's no time there. So they know they're going to be with you. And their whole concern is to take care of you. And when they go there, they have reunions with everybody. They party, they drink. I mean, they do things they love here. Honestly, it's like Earth, but 10 times better. It's like, I can't wait to die, but I don't want to die. But you actually, it's fun. Some people go to school. Some people go to other planets because there's other planets. Some people reincarnate, if you believe in that. And my thought about reincarnation, and this is going to kind of trip you out, but it's true. There is no time, right? So you're doing your past, present, future life at the same time. Right. Everything's happening all at once. Okay, so the thing is, how are you showing up in your play, even when you're grieving somebody's passing? And they want you to celebrate their life. The way to connect with them, they gave me this too. And I might look at my notes because I wrote all this down because this is a new topic for me. Is they want you to connect with them through the music they love, look at their photographs, wear their jewelry, and do it as you can handle. Some people, it might be too fragile in the beginning to do that, but they want you to bring in things that they like. I love when you have celebration of life where everybody gets to talk about their favorite memory of somebody and share it, and just be real and have a kind of service that they would like. Because they do go to the funerals, okay? I tell you that. They are always at the funerals. They want to know who's going to be there and who's saying what. So know that is a given. They do show up for that. And I know it's difficult because there are babies that die. Okay, we can't conceive that. All the people that died from COVID. That was a massive exit point. Okay, I had one lady I read in Bakersfield. She had 7 siblings, 6 or 7 family members died at within weeks, and all they did was get a pizza at Pizza Hut. Okay, and she had to drop one by one off. So I ended up getting her the help she needed, and I got the TV channel involved because it needed to be on TV. you know, because people won't take it as seriously. Okay, but that was, I think that was the range too. I think before you come in, they're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna be part of that massive race. I think I can go with that. I don't think, the thing is, I know this may sound crazy, but there is no death. You don't die. You just change form. So you change from a physical body to a spiritual body. You are a spiritual body more than anything, but you're here to learn. You agree to be here. You guys get that? You can't blame anybody. Right? You can't blame the dog. You can't blame your mom and dad. I do tell my sister this. I said, I wanted to be with you, and she's older. I said, so I blame you. You know, because our mother was not easy. And we laugh about that, but I agreed to be here. We all did. And you agreed to be in this time frame. And you survived COVID. What does that say? And so the thing I want to emphasize today is be aware of your contract. Have the courage to say whatever it is, the purpose I'm supposed to be here to do, I'm willing to do that. And I'm willing to heal my relationships that are not healed. Because you'll do it again with that person if you don't heal it. Right? And I tell people, do you want peace or do you want to be right? Do you want to be right or do you want to have peace? Okay. And the thing is, take the memories with your loved ones that have passed on and enjoy it. Like, have reverence for it. Because they agreed to be in your life. And know that they're in a better place, right? You guys get that? They're okay. We just have to, how do we come out of that? And how do we celebrate their life rather than getting stuck in the pain of it? You guys get that? Okay, I'm gonna look at my notes a minute because I channeled this. We got the second of pain. And they want you to honor, and I know they have me emphasize this, they want you to honor what you're to do here without holding yourself back. Okay, and I have to explain this because this is true. When you get off track to the point you're not following your contract, guess what happens? You get taken out. You can't regress too much. If you regress too much in your contract, they take you out because they're like, you're not doing what you came here to do. You guys get that? So people get really heavy in drugs or they get so far off their contract and they're basically, you know, going backwards. You are taken out because you're not here doing what you're supposed to be doing. So their number one thing with this whole channel for you is please don't get off your contract. Don't get stuck in the pain. Elevate yourself. Yes, allow 7-8 months or whatever time frame you need to heal. And don't make any major decisions in that time. And don't let other people tell you how to grieve. Because people get stuck in that and it gets crazy. And you get confused and then you lose your self-esteem and your value and you don't know if you're coming or going. You guys get that? So it's okay to say no to people if you don't want to go out. Or have to. Like, you know, I'm not feeling it. I'm too fragile still. I think I'm going to just stay home today. And so just know that's part of your process, right? Okay. Is this helping? Yeah. Okay.
When you're ready to take questions, we've got one in the chat.
Okay, I'll say one more thing. Okay, and there is no mistakes. When they left, even babies, okay, I'll say this and then you guys will get this. Do you know why babies go early? I'll tell you. Because two things. They couldn't handle the energies on the planet. It's too hard for them. Second reason they go early is because they're part of somebody's spiritual awakening. Because it blows the other people open up to their pain so that they can transform and become what they need to. So a lot of times when people die young, it's part of helping other people wake up. You guys get that? Okay, so question, go ahead.
So Sharon online is saying, I have a very close longtime friend who has been told she has only a short time to live. We have talked about trying to find a way to connect after she passes. What advice can you give me? Thank you.
And my condolences. I have business cards, website, tammyjholmes.com. If you guys want to contact me, I can help with after they go to make sure they're okay. Because most people here, when we grieve for loved ones, we want to know they're okay. Did they make it? Did they cross over? Are they stuck? or do they have anything to say to me? So, yeah, I can help with that and help with the reading of the friend once they pass on. Okay, I had one reading, this blew me away, but I loved it. I went to the house and she was dying. She wanted a reading right before she died. Okay, do you know how cool that is? To have somebody that involved and she's coming, wanting a reading at her house a few days before she dies. And she had all her family in the bedroom, so there were 4 sisters and a mom. And I looked at the mom, I go, you're not crazy. She goes, what? I go, I see all the, because what she was starting to see is patches of colors in the room. And she thought she was on drugs, that they were giving her drugs. And I said, I see them. She goes, you see them too? I said, yeah. I go, you're not crazy. And then she looked at her daughters like, are you guys okay? Like, we all knew she was dying, right? I said, no, this is part of your transition. You're going to a different realm. But it was so powerful that I could tell her what I'm seeing with her to validate she wasn't going crazy. And they were she was only giving me LSD. I know that. I'm not giving you any gummies or anything, you know, but it was really cool to help her realize she wasn't losing. I said, we're starting a transition. You're going to start seeing things that are not of this world. And then I tell people too, when loved ones start coming in, they're going. They come at the very end. Like they'll come get them at the end. So whoever you love will come get you. So if your ex-husband you couldn't stand, he won't be there, I promise you. Or an ex. But what you do have is people that love you and they'll come. And love heals, okay? You guys get that? So when I do, and I do have times where people are stuck. Okay, not a lot, but sometimes they're stuck. And one of the reasons they're stuck between this world and crossing is they actually don't think they deserve the light. Because you have that tunnel and it doesn't stay open for very long. So if they don't go through it, most of the time they don't feel they deserve it, they stay stuck. So you know how I cross people over because love heals everything? I bring in somebody they love. I just hold the space. I bring in whatever person that they absolutely love and they come and get them. Is that cool? Very cool. So I had I would like to share the story. It's very different. I know I'm jumping. I hope you guys are okay with that, but this is coming in. This actually happened years ago. It was 2005, 6. I was training this girl to do the work I'm doing. She was much more intelligent than me. Her IQ was off the charts. I could barely stay up with her. And I actually coached her for free. I was told to help this girl. And it got to the point, I'm like, okay, you graduated. I can't give you any more. But wait a while, let it all downgrade. Don't go do anything. What did she do? So she decides to go do a clearing, like in the next week, but didn't tell me about it, right? Yeah, and this was Las Vegas, so she goes to this building that's completely haunted. They couldn't keep employees. There were probably 10 employees that they lost in 1 month because they couldn't handle all the stuff and the movement would be in the haunted. So my client goes to this building because she knew the girls that owned the business. And she goes in there demanding they leave. You guys just need to leave, right? Like, oh, going in like she's such, strong entity. Well, her husband calls me and she goes home, she's paralyzed. So you can get psychically attacked if you don't know what you're doing. So I tell people, you really need to know how to do clearings, do this work, because there is dark and light. There's dark and light on this planet, right? So you got to be careful with it. So her husband called me and said, what the hell did you do online? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't talked to her since last week. He goes, she can't get out of bed. She's paralyzed. So I got on the phone with her and said, what did you do? She goes, Tammy, I messed up. I'm like, what'd you do? She goes, well, I went and I tried to help these girls to clear. I said, I told you to wait. I go, okay, let me go see what you got yourself into. So I go into meditation and I'm in Phoenix, okay? I asked her to travel to this building. I go in and love is all there is, right? And I've seen a lot of things that even scare me sometimes, but I have to stay in that love or I get attacked. And I go in this building, I see 6 men, 3 in the front, 3 men in the front, 3 in the back, and they have these black suits on with these pinstripe ties, and they're like from the 1930s, 40s, right? And I walk in there and I'm like, I go, what happened? Because see, when I do crossings or readings, I talk to them like they're here, because they are here. And they go, your friend pissed us off. So we attacked him. I go, but why are you here? Why are you on earth? Why are you stuck? And he said, we think we're all gonna go to hell. That's exactly what they said. And I said, and I started channeling in the meditation. I said, well, what if I told you there is no hell? And you'll go in at the level that you are, because there is no hell. There's 72 levels of heaven. And you go in at the level you vibrate. That's the truth. Okay. So I told him, I said, there is no hell, and you'll go in at the level that you're at. It might be low, but you'll ascend that over time. And the middle guy in the front said, do we have your word on it? Okay. And then he looked over his back. He said, Benny, what do you think? Okay. So I'm like, but then I start channeling again. I said, but you created Las Vegas. Everybody loves it. It's big now. It's nothing like when you guys started out. So you did something right, because I was trying to connect with them and give them validation of something they had all done yet. Right. And I didn't totally get it all. And they said, okay. So I started crossing them over one by one, all 6 of them. But then I felt this weird energy in the building, like this shaking. So I'm like, there's something else in here. So I walk around the building, and there was a little guy bent over in a corner, shaking like a leaf. And I said, who do you love? He goes, my mom, I need my mom. So I brought his mom in. I was bawling, brought his mom in. And she was, get the hell over here. What do you think? You know, she's like yelling at him, right? We crossed him into the light. So I came out of meditation. I'm in awe at this point. So I think, oh my God, I just crossed Quincy Siegel on this game. Okay. So I looked up before I called her back, because I don't want to think I'm crazy, and she's my student. Right. So I look up, and they used to call him Benny. He would not like it if you called him Bugsy. His name was Benny Siegel. I called her up. I said, Lori, her name's Lori. I said, you're not going to believe what just happened. She goes, what? And the spell was gone. She could move again. I said, I think I just crossed Bugsy Siegel on his game. She goes, you did. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, I don't want to tell you, but they originally owned the building, and they made guns in the vault then. But if I told you, you might not help me. So I said, do me a favor, don't get into anything else right now, because this is too much, right? So the thing is, there are 2 worlds, and it's all connected, and we're here to grow and learn. And if you want to connect with your loved ones, get into the heart space of what they love. Listen to their favorite music, play their games, do things that celebrate them. That's the way to do it. And remember, you still have to fulfill your contract, right? In spite of who dies. You guys get that? And we're all going to go. We're all going to graduate someday. So how, I keep saying this, how are you showing up in your life? How are you showing up? The only thing you can change is today. So how are you showing up today to be the best you can be? And the Course says, Course in Miracles, says you affect 1,000 people a day by your energy, by your thinking, and your actions. So how are you showing up? Everything reverberates out, right? So how are you doing that? And what are you doing? And I say this too. I know I get a little preachy, but it's intense right now, and not just politically. The collective energy is intense. It's off the charts. And one of the things I tell people, you need to start playing again. Not take it all so pretty serious, you know. Just play, do things, go build a puzzle, go paint, go walk, hike, you know, do things that bring back the innocence. What we need is the innocence. And they said that, Tammy, your planet needs the innocence, because everything that's going on their planet is affecting them too. We affect everything. So the thing is, what can you do to play? What brings you happiness? So 2 or 3 times a week, I would say do something that brings you joy. Don't take it all so seriously. Don't be so stressed out. Because you stressing is not helping the planet. And only you can do what you can do. Like do things and think of things you did as a kid that you love. You know, what are the things that you love to do as a kid? Right? Like people tell me, well, I'll do that when I retire. I'm like, no, you need to do it now, because it balances out the energy while you're working. If you guys get that everything is energy, how powerful is that, right? All right. So I'll take a few questions. I don't know where we're at, but I can take a few questions from the audience if you want to do that.
We got a whole 30 minutes.
Oh, we do? Wow, it's going by so fast, right?
I was just asking before lunch, we had a session on May, medical aid dying, and which is legal now here in Mexico and other states. And so I just wondered with what you're saying is there's no mistake, you're supposed to die the way you're supposed to die. Some people are against it because they said you're supposed to naturally. So you feel like it's.
I'll say something you guys are gonna look and say that. All right, this is kind of funny, but it's true. I gave birth to my son naturally. I never recommend it. Okay, and I never had any good ideas. All right, so whatever you have to take to help you transition, do it. And then you guys get so make it as comfortable as possible. If it means you gotta take whatever, take it. Okay, morphine is not a bad thing when you're dying. So I think whatever will make the patient comfortable, there's no wrong way. There's no wrong way to grieve. There's no wrong way to die. And if anybody has an issue with it, tell them they can deal with it when they go to die. Because they're going to be asking for the medicine too, I guarantee you. Or if they have a long sickness. So I think do what you need to do. Make it comfortable for everyone.
But when you talk about if someone dies in a long period of time, they're burning on karma, that's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do. Yeah, you don't exit till it's your time. So a lot of people have long periods of death, like they could be sick for 6, 8 months, or even 2 years. Okay, they're burning off karma. Now the other thing my mom had to mention is I believe people check out before they check out because they're afraid of death. They can't handle the death process or even getting older. Some people can't even handle aging. Okay, so they check out before they check out. And I don't think there's a wrong way to anything. I'm like, it's all relative. It's interesting. Do what you need to do. It's not, this is the thing. It's not how a person dies. It's how you react to it. Be supportive. We're not perfect humans, okay? And there is no perfect human. If there is, I want to meet them. Okay? But the thing is, I think life is messy. And it's beautiful. But how a person dies is how they handle it. Now, a lot of people get angry. You know, and they're difficult. Caretaking is a really hard thing. When people get moody, take a pill. I'm like, give them whatever you need to calm them down because life is already hard. So you do whatever you have to help with some of this transition. I know I'll be taking stuff. I want to give it. I'll let you go in. I want to give it to you because, and I'm not an addict or anything, but if I have a lot of pain, I'm not going to. Like I said, I did natural. I don't want to do that. So I would say the process of death is, and whatever, and I know there's religious beliefs to a lot of things, but it should be up to the patient on how they want to do it. It shouldn't be. I know at some point it's the family, but that should all be arranged before that gets to that point. I think I tell everybody, get clear about everything before you die. People don't want to deal with it. And money is an issue, okay? I see a lot of that in reading for people don't work out. All that I said, get a revocable living trust. You get that, you'll never have to work. So that's what I highlighted. Any other questions?
Yeah, you just mentioned people with dementia are checked out before they're checked out. Somebody was asking about that online. So you read her mind.
Well, there you go. Yeah, because people do check out before they check out. Yeah. But it's two things. They check out, one, because they can't handle the death process. But the second is people don't like aging. They don't want to get old. And my thing is, aging is a gift. Okay, you are given a gift. And like I know for a fact, I'm going to be here in my 90s. My mom was, I look like her. I don't have bipolar, but I look like her. I walk like her, and my grandmother, they lived to be 91, 95. So I already know I'm going to be here in life. But the thing is, aging is a gift. You do the best you can with it. And you just show up the best that you can. That's all you can do, right? And then the other, like I said, is afraid. There's a lot of people afraid of dying. I don't, my concept of that, I don't think it's death. It's two things. I don't think it's death itself they're afraid of. I think it's the pain and not knowing. The change of it. But not knowing if there's a heaven or hell. And there are people that are not really nice or haven't been good people. So they have all that to deal with. But guess what?
They have a what?
A slow passing.
A slow pass.
They'll be sick for a while to burn the karma off so that they can elevate to that energy. That's how I've noticed in the 30 years I've been doing this. And I never wanted to be a psychic. but it shows me. So, but I love it. I get so much out of it. Yes,
Any thoughts about what happens when people are tortured?
torture?
Yeah, especially young.
Okay, and now this is a whole different realm. I hope you guys are open to it. She wants to know what happens to people that are tortured or have been tortured.
Well, yeah, that whole experience, I mean, it's such a horrible way to go.
Okay, so people that are tortured by other beings or other people, this is my thinking, because there is no death, right? You guys get that, right? Right. And you reincarnated before. You guys get that? So my thing is you're balancing out karma with other people that maybe you weren't good to in a past life.
So even as a child.
You come in with everything you are. Even as a baby, you come, your soul, more than you are a physical body. So whatever other life experiences you have, you got to balance that out. And it's not easy. But you already knew that before you incarnated, that that was going to happen. And the thing is, you showed up at the buffet. And you took on what you wanted. So I'm a believer. And I'm not agreeing with anybody hurting anybody, okay? But I'm in agreement that if somebody, say somebody murdered you, you probably murdered them in a past life. It's like balancing the scales. It really is. Now remember, there's 72 levels of heaven, so you'll go in at the level that you vibrate. If somebody did a lot of killings, they're probably at the low level of that. And I also say people that do crazy stuff, they're insane. Yes.
I believe my son was reincarnated because at 10 years old, his whole goal in life was to save a person. When he did finally save a person, he died 2 weeks later.
He's evolved. So a lot of people come in and they don't have to do a lot because they're so evolved. And then they end up leaving because they don't need the lessons and the schooling like we do.
Makes sense.
Okay, and I will say this, us living, it might be a backhanded compliment. Okay, because it means you still have stuff to do, right? So a lot of people that are really evolved, they leave young. And like babies, I don't really want to go. But if it wakes up Betty and Sue and Paul and Bill, I'll go. I'll do that because I love that. Yes.
So I have a contract question.
Okay, you might not want to ask me.
Yeah, but no, I
Okay,
know
go
I'm
ahead.
ready.
Okay.
So for most of my adult life, I have attracted what I call wounded birds. They're other people, male and female, young and old, who are wounded either physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually.
So you're a fixer.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Answer.
So I've always had this, child of the 60s, always had this philosophy that, we're here to learn lessons and to give gifts, right? So it's like, okay, what is the lesson that I am meant to be learning? Because these wounded birds keep coming
I have
by.
the answer for this because I'm like that too. I used to be like that. Do you want a project or a partner?
Say that again?
Do you want a project or a partner or people? So the thing is, I'm a fixer too, and I'm a classic enabler. So when but I've learned this the hard way. Nobody needs fixing, they just need love. And you gotta realize as messed up as they are, but they're not. And then you learn as you get older, which I've learned, because I used to always attract people that needed fixing, is no, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not here to fix you. And you can't love anybody well, by the way. I used to do that. You can't love anybody well. You just say, isn't it interesting we have all this stuff? And I'm not here to fix it. But what I learned, because I started going to Al-Anon, I used to attract things. Okay. So what I learned, what would happen for me, and this might be for you and some of you, is I would get uncomfortable when somebody was uncomfortable having problems. So for me to feel better, I would go fix it. Because it would make me feel better. All right, which is not healthy. So I realized I don't want to run into the avalanche. So I realized people with a lot of problems, I'm not running into the avalanche. And I've been going to Al-Anon for 4 years now. But I learned that I'm not there to go take care of anybody but myself. And you have to have discernment, because this is a key too from the course. If you go in and help somebody out of fear, that energy is fear, not love, so they're not going to appreciate it.
Well, I always felt that the lesson I needed to learn was to, to be more compassionate, to deepen my well of.
You already have compassion, if you're like me, all right? I see you have compassion. You don't need to deepen your compassion by rescuing people. What you need to do is say, this is not for me to do. And one of the lines I use, you're smart enough to figure it out. You're intelligent. You're so smart, you'll figure it out. Because they're gonna go find somebody else that's gonna help me.
Right.
Okay, so that's the truth. So it's like, do you want to run into the avalanche? Or do you want to pull back and just say, I can't help you, but you're smart enough, you'll figure it out. And I'm so sorry. Compassionate say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And have boundaries, because they might want to talk. Oh, go. Just say, I'm so sorry and I gotta go, but I'll pray for you. Don't run in the avalanche. And you're not a fixer anymore. Right.
What about dreams and,
Loved ones?
yeah, that, kind of communicate with you through dreams?
Yeah.
Or symbols and
Yeah.
things like that?
Yes. Dreams are great. Okay, so when you have loved ones come in a dream, it's not a dream, it's a visitation. Okay, it's not a dream. They're coming in to see you. Now, the time they do that is 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Okay, because it's the valves lifted and slider. So when they come to see you, it takes a lot for them to come down in our energy. So they're giving you a gift. And whatever messages they give you, honor them. If you see symbols or anything that reflects to your loved ones, they're just letting you know they're with you. It's beautiful. My mom used to do that too a lot.
We have an online question.
Okay.
From Robert. I feel avoidance of experiencing grief and loss of loved ones has held me back from openly fully enjoying my life. Is learning to have the courage to experience grief and other emotions a learning process?
It is a learning process, but the thing is, most people avoid feeling pain, but you're gonna cause more problems not feeling it. If it means you lay in your bed for 3 weeks, you lay in your bed for 3 weeks. I mean, you don't wanna get stuck in it, like I said, but any emotions are fleeting, they change, right? But if you're in grief, you let it go through you like a wave. And you allow it, and you need to look up the 6 stages of grief, okay? Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she passed on, her book on grieving is really relevant to when you lose somebody in any way. It could be a relationship, it could be death, but you need to say, I'm now willing to allow the grief, and this guy needs to get some counseling, and I can help him if he's interested, or he can find a counselor because he needs probably help.
So you're talking about anger, denial, bargaining,
Right.
depression, acceptance.
Yes,
It's 5, not 6.
there's, I thought there was.
She had a new one.
Oh, she had a new one?
Yeah.
Meaning making, yeah. From David
Yeah,
Kessler.
so yeah, the 6, and you gotta go through that, because when you don't go, and what do most people do when they don't wanna agree? Or feel pain, addictions, so they numb it. But wherever you go, there you are, all right, you can't avoid yourself, so wherever you go, there you are, you're still gonna have that. And wounded people hurt people. And then they bring that into their daily lives. I tell people, if you can't love yourself through the grief, love the people around you. Heal because of your family members. Do the work. And it really goes quickly if you do it correctly. It really does. But if it means you're in pain, go through the pain of it. Cry. Be angry. I journal when I'm grieving. I journal a lot. And then I delete it. Never reread it because you put it back in the physical body. So you journal 1 to 3 pages a day, and it might be the same stuff every day, okay? But you journal it and delete it, because then you're purging it out. And I tell people chakra clearing is really good, and be out in nature. Nature is a good way to heal too. But allow yourself to feel the pain. Have the courage to do that, because if not, you're just stifling that's what they say. You can't get stuck in the pain because it becomes your identity, and that's not, your contract gets affected by that. You guys get that? Okay. Any other, yes,
I've heard this term used only once in my entire life. And I was wondering how you would define, it's a spiritual kind of action. It was called illegal reading, like doing something illegal and doing a reading on person. So that person started talking to that other person and telling them all this stuff. They were reading it, but it's considered to be illegal in the spiritual world. How would you define illegal reading?
Well, my take on that, I'm a very ethical reader. I don't do clearings, readings, anything unless I have permission. It's a permission thing and having ethics. Okay, when my client's with me, it's all about them. I'm fully with them. All right, so I leave all my stuff at the door and fully present with my client. I don't. There are people that do unethical stuff as readers. Unfortunately, they'll say, "Hey, give me $1,000. I'll bring some candles and we'll get rid of a spell." You know, it's. I don't want to say the word on it too, but it's. All right. So the thing is, I think the concept of illegal is where people are reading people. They have no boundaries, and you should not read anybody unless they're with you and they want that reading. So if you start reading people, giving messages, doing stuff without their permission, that's unethical. I think it's inappropriate.
Yeah, I think it happened to me once, and it made me a little bit angry, and I still see the person's spirit around, like in little messages and symbols and other people sometimes.
Well, just call me.
Upset
I
about it.
think you need a session, okay?
Yeah,
Because you've got an attachment with it.
yeah,
And I don't want to go into it, but you have an attachment with
I
it.
think so.
And that happens a lot.
It was inappropriate.
It's very inappropriate, but we could clear that. And you'll have to remind me who you are and what the conversation is when you call me. Okay, go ahead.
Another online question.
Okay.
What is happening with recurring dreams? I've had a recurring dream. I'm in a Victorian home, and each time in my dream, I explore a new room in the house I hadn't seen
I
before.
love this. This is a great dream. Okay, house represents self. So their house represents self.
Yeah.
So they're going deeper within their parts of themselves.
Mhm.
So look, and that's very symbolic. That means that person's very intuitive and very purifying. Okay, so when they have that, I would make note when you wake up what that room looks like. If there's damage, if the walls look gray, but this means they're going deeper within themselves. And, I love that dream. I'd say amen to that, because it's telling this person where they're actually at internally, subconsciously, conscious, and what's happening with them. You guys get that? How any house dreams itself, any car dreams means you're actually traveling. Or anytime you're moving, even if you're riding a horse, you're actually traveling. You're going somewhere and doing that.
What about suicide?
Yeah. Okay, so this is it's a big deal, right? We see this a lot. Okay, suicide means that they left without fulfilling the contract. Okay, doesn't mean they went to hell, because there's no hell. But the thing about suicide is, and we know this on earth, they must have been in so much pain they couldn't be embodied. Right? So we have compassion with that. But on the etheric, the contract, the bigger picture with the soul means they're going to have to come back and balance that out some way. Because it's not just with themselves and their contract, the things that they agree to do, but they also are going to add on the people that got hurt by that. So it's a hard pill to swallow, but they'll go to school, they'll work with their guides, they'll do whatever, but they're going to have retribution with that. And they'll have to reincarnate and correct all of that. And it's tragic, okay? It's very tragic. And we've all had experiences with that. So it's very difficult. And the other thing you got to know about suicides, you got to let go of what you could have done. Because most people, and I have somebody close in my family that did this, so I get this on a personal level. There's nothing you could have done. When they take themselves out, they were meant to do that. They knew what they were doing. You guys get that? The tragic one that I see, like I said, is fentanyl. Because people are buying stuff off the streets and it's not regulating. They don't even know what they're taking. I've had so many, since last year too, so many people dying of fentanyl. Isn't that tragic? And it just takes a little bit. Okay, who's next? Anybody else have a question? You guys?
Do you believe in reincarnation for everyone? Like, how does it work with this
Uh,
concept?
this is the thing about reincarnation. Sometimes you want to go and float on a cloud for a while. Okay, you don't want to do anything. But if you have things you have to balance out, you will, with everything in your soul, want to balance. So you'll reincarnate. Or you'll go to another planet and reincarnate. I think there's other places we go. So I think when we're over there and we're in the soul energy, the spirit, we want to balance out. And you know what they tell me? We can't wait to be. Because this is the hardest place to come to. This is the hardest place to incarnate to, is Earth. Because we want to do it quickly and we want to do the most that we can. It's like you hit the lotto ticket and you incarnate it. You know how cool that is? You're like, that's, but really you did. So just know that you get the lotto coming in. And what you do matters on this planet right now. And we're not in a rehearsal anymore. We need to change this planet. It's very dark. It's more dark than light right now. And it's collectively, we're learning through pain. That's why the earth is having all these storms and hurricanes and fires, because Mother Earth can't transform us collectively as a group. We beat up Mother Earth. And we need to start showing up. All of us, we need to be better than we are. Showing it better, helping, being light, showing people that we'll be in spite of the story. You guys get that? I always say, it doesn't matter what's going on in the White House. What's going on in your house? What are you doing in your house? What are you doing in your family? What are you doing in your community? Are you loving everybody around you? Or are you stuck in a story that we can't keep making excuses? You know, and then love is really what it is. Love is love. And I mean, I get paid to love people. I pinch myself every day. I get paid, and I hear things with people that I need to hear for myself because it helps me heal. You know, when I started doing readings, I was really angry in spirit because I was like, I don't want to do readings. You know what they told me? The Tam, it's not about you. You just need to get out of the way and receive you. I was on my knees for that. After 1,000 times, they told me that. Get out of the way, we just want to use you. It's not about me. It has nothing to do with you. How would you handle that? You just show up, right? And are you doing your purpose? You just show up. And people are in a lot of pain right now. People are erratic right now. It's off the charts. And if you can give them an hour or a half hour a day or somewhere where they can change, you did a good thing. And that's what it's about. And yes.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, is your belief about reincarnation is that you just keep coming back until you're completely evolved?
I love the question. Yes. And this is a saying. You're as far along on your journey as the last person behind you. So we're all coming back till we all get in the end. We're one with God, one with source energy. And maybe then the planet will just blow up and they'll say they don't need Earth school anymore. Oh, that'd be friggin' nice. I'd love to see that happen. But yeah, you keep reincarnating until you got where you need to go. And I think it's one with God. Like the Course says, you think you got many problems, you have one. You disconnected from source. And this is the thing I tell people. This is so important. If you have a daily practice, 15, 20 minutes a day where you connect the source or your higher self or that energy, your whole day is going to be better. But you know how many people are disciplined to even have a practice? It's like, do you want to be on a rat wheel and screw up all the time? Or you want to say, I'm going to send my energy, because Course calls Earth a battlefield. Okay? So the more you ascend, you won't have all the crap, okay? You won't have all the crap anymore. It'll fall away. You won't have the hard lessons. Do you want a bumpy road or do you want a smooth road? Do you want to hit the rails? Because we're all going down the same road, right? So do you want it smooth or do you want it bumpy? Right? Or do you want to hit the rails and go off a detour that you shouldn't go off on to come back again or go fix somebody? We don't want to do that. So the thing is, what are you doing every day? You know, my teacher taught me, have a practice every day. The course says, give me 5 minutes a day and the whole day will be better. But why don't we want to do that? Go sit in nature, read something, spiritual, Bible, I don't care. Whatever way gets you so you're more centered, your day will be better. You'll vibrate higher. And you won't have the hard lessons that you've been having. You guys get that? And it's okay to say no sometimes. No, I'm not, that doesn't feel right for me. Or can I sit with it? I need to take care of me right now. You gotta value yourself. Value is an important thing. And the course says this, you can't lose what you value. But you can't lose yourself and call it love. You can't drown and call it love, because that's insane. So show up for you. Make yourself a priority without being narcissistic or self-indulged, but take care of you so that you can be better with everybody else. You guys get that? Am I too preachy? I can't help it.
No.
Okay.
Well, so my mom was in hospice inpatient in Florida, and I was
Right.
there for a week. And after Saturday morning, the nurse said, "You need to go take care of yourself. Go back to New Mexico and take care of the festival."
And she would want that.
Yeah.
And you did what you needed to for you and her, and then to come back. Because you're joined. The hearts are joined with other people on the other side. And the people here too, by the way. Because love is connecting. And you're doing your purpose, Gail. That's the most important thing. You are an important person in this community. All right? Am I right? Yeah. You're doing good quality, if you like it or not. But she's doing her purpose. And the course says is say, I'm willing. I'm now willing to serve you as well. As soon as you do that, they're going to show you how they can use you. Get out of your stories. I tell people who are stuck in their stories and their problems, I go, what are you doing to get out of it? Go shop, go walk, go help somebody. Get out of your stuff so that you can rise above it. Sometimes you can't heal things when you're too fixated on it. And if you're too attached to something, you're going to lose it anyway. That's the truth. So because you're serving two masters, that's what that's about. You got to connect the source. So when you make something else your happiness, you're making it your God. No person, place, or thing is your answer. You're the answer. And I always tell people this because I hear this a lot too. If you have unhealthy relationships in family, friends, or whatever, you don't know what to do with them, this is the key. You hand it over. I hand this over to the Holy Spirit, God, whatever, so until it can be healthy. And until then, I don't want it. And then you let the cake be. You percolate it. I did that with my mom. I took my mom on a trip from hell in 2000. We started out in Bakersfield, California, and went all the way to Pennsylvania. And it was a nightmare. So when I came back, I did that prayer. I said, okay, I'm handing my mom over to the Holy Spirit because I have to work the course too. And until it can be healthy, I don't want it. I didn't hear from her for 7 months. Okay, and then she called me. She was Tammy. She said, Tammy, you don't get me and I don't get you. And from then on, we both changed. Like as much as she changed, I changed. I didn't take it personal anymore. So if she said the sky was purple, yellow, blue, I'd say, okay. I didn't argue with her anymore. I said, okay, Mom, you're right. Like I completely changed in it. So when you hand it over, you're not just changing, you're changing. And you got to trust God's smarter than you are, right? So I hand over everything. Because I don't want the lessons anymore. I'm tired of the lessons. And we're going to keep having them if we don't say, you know what, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm handing it over. And I'm going to get out of how I think it needs to be, because do I want peace or do I want to be right? You want peace?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. And simple's not overrated, right? So you don't need to be right. Just have peace. Okay, and questions?
Our time is almost up.
Okay,
But,
how many more minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Woohoo. Okay.
I have a recurring dream of either missing the airplane, getting on the airplane doesn't take off. I'm packing too much. I don't get on the airplane. I don't get to the
I love this dream.
airplane.
You gotta let go of control. Control dream. You gotta say, I'm now willing. The word willing is powerful in the course. I'm now willing to let control go. I don't need to know what it needs to look like. I let go of control. And don't judge everything is right or wrong, okay? Okay, so that's a control break.
Okay.
And you know what I see? People that have too much control or want control, their joints get stiff. Because they get arthritis, so you know why I'm saying this, okay? So you gotta let go, so your joints will start feeling better. Your flexibility is everything. Okay, so can I end in prayer?
Please, yes.
Okay, because I'm thinking, you guys are a great group, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Right, thank you, people, let go. Dear God, Holy Spirit, we ask for divine intervention. We ask to bless everybody in this group today. We ask to ascend their energy to a higher level, to allow them to value and nurture and love themselves, to allow the truth to come in, to own and take accountability for anything that needs to be transformed. We also ask that you guide them in their pain, their suffering, their joy, their emotions to be better humans. We ask for them to serve and to show up and to love themselves and those around them. And we ask to reverberate and to correct anything known or unknown that's not in their highest good. And we thank you so much.